Traffic volumes are expected to increase as motorists are set to start traveling to various destinations for the festive season. Law enforcement agencies, we're told, are embarking on a number of law enforcement operations, one of them at the Mooi River Toll Plaza along the N3. This operation will be led by Deputy Transport Minister Mkhuleko Hlengwa with the aim of intensifying efforts to reduce fatalities during the festive season and ensure adherence to traffic rules. Let's get you a sense of what else is taking place there. Nonhlakanipo Magwaza, as part of our team, keeping a close eye on the situation. And Nonhlakanipo, I understand the Deputy Minister has now arrived.
Good morning again, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. Yes, we're still here at the Mooi River Toll Plaza. As you can see behind me, traffic is backing up. A lot of trucks coming through. The operation is still ongoing, but however, we are joined with me now by the Deputy Minister of Transport, Mr. Mkhuleko Hlengwa. Mr. Hlengwa, we do understand that this is not the only operation that is happening around the province. If you can just briefly tell us which other places are hosting or holding these type of operations?
I'd rather not say, because we are running an operation jointly with law enforcement entities. These operations will be ongoing as we started them already in November at a heightened pace. They've been a year-long campaign and we've picked up our pace in November, December, and we'll continue doing so right up until the end of January. The Minister Christie this morning will be in Limpopo. Tomorrow she will be in Mpumalanga, and on Sunday I will be in the Eastern Cape. And the whole point is for us to give heightened support to provinces and municipalities. Effective today, 800 National Traffic Police will be deployed throughout the country to ensure that the operations that we want to do yield the results that we want. We have been meeting with provinces for the whole of this year, and effective 2 weeks ago, we've been meeting Tuesdays and Thursdays with all the MECs. We have now established provincial operations of provinces and municipalities, because our whole outlook is the sharing and pooling of resources for maximum consequence management. We are working with civil society, we are working with the private sector as part of a joint national operation for road safety. The clarion call remains the same as it was from yesteryear. We are asking drivers, please don't drink and drive. Please do not drink and walk and jaywalk. 48% odd of our fatalities are pedestrians in the country. We continue to be worried about fatigue on the roads, and particularly during this period where there is long travel, and we are saying rest every 200 kilometers, rest every 2 hours. Now, why we are here on the N3, which will remain a primary focus for us throughout the festive season as part of the top 20 priority routes that we have identified throughout the country, is that we have a trucking problem on this road. The drivers of trucks are reckless and irresponsible in how they navigate the traffic, in how they navigate the flow of movement towards Durban and coming up. We will be engaging with the Trucking Association next week, so that we can have joint messaging and joint interactions with the truck drivers. They are making our job fundamentally very, very difficult as we try to ensure safety. And then lastly is that there will be a heightened focus on way bridges and way in motion assessments that we'll be doing of all vehicles, to avoid a situation of overloading, to avoid a situation where the transportation, particularly trucks and public transport, which is buses and taxis, move long distances without being assessed, because we recognize that major crashes are a major challenge for us on our roads. So we are saying to the road users in their material facets, do the right things, because we are going to be arresting. We are applying a zero tolerance approach, and the reason why we are doing that is because South Africa's economy is peculiar. We have got a reversal of the urban-rural migration. People are going back home throughout the country. The middle class will start traveling, and there will be heightened travel of public transport, which is taxis and buses. If we do not secure the collective safety of those individuals by working together, we are going to run into problems. And then the reversal will begin in January. So this is going to be an ongoing operation throughout the festive season. Just on a lighter note, the minister and I were speaking this morning, and she was saying to me, "DM, it looks as if we don't have a festive season again." And I said, well, we got the raw end of the stick, and that's called transport. But we remain fundamentally committed to the fact that we have to be on the roads, boots on the grounds, and offer maximum support to our traffic law enforcement officers. And lastly, we are happy to report that we had applied for an exemption for overtime for our traffic law enforcement officers, and the Department of Public Service Administration, Minister Buthelezi, has granted us that exemption, which therefore enables us now to be able to apply the third shift, which means there will be 24/7 visible policing throughout the country, particularly on weekends, and we now have the permission to pay overtime. All these initiatives and interventions are designed for the purposes of visible policing and constant and consistent presence on our roads. So the traffic law enforcement officers will now be remunerated the overtime that they will be taking during this period.
Thank you so much. Oh, before I let you go, Deputy Minister, we also heard from the N3TC saying that they've noticed a growing trend that on the N3, it's mostly single vehicle accidents that are happening. Now, in your view, is it mostly occurring because of fatigue, or is it driver negligence?
It is a combination of many aspects. The RTMC has done an assessment. The results are that driver fatigue, and hence I was emphasizing the need for resting every 2 hours, every 200 kilometers. Also, it is people trying to drive in the early hours of the morning to avoid traffic, and therefore they are fatigued. 2, alcohol consumption. Drinking and driving remains one of our major challenges. People crossing where they're not supposed to be crossing. And therefore, on a highway such as this one, where the speed limit is 120 kilometers per hour, a driver ordinarily would have a legitimate expectation of a free flow of traffic at that speed. And therefore, when somebody crosses, they interrupt that, and we have all these accidents. And then thirdly is unroadworthy vehicles, which are on our roads. Just this morning, this operation has discontinued vehicles as well, which should not be on the road. And then lastly is distractions behind the steering wheel. And amongst the other factors contributing to this is content creation. Because it's holiday season, everybody wants to tell everybody that I'm traveling there, I'm going there, look where I'm passing. They've got cell phone in hand. If it's not the driver, it's the passenger who is distracting the driver to say, turn and look at the shot that I'm taking for our content. So we are also worried at the heightened level of cell phone usage. Just in fact, coming here this morning, the number of drivers I observed who are on their cell phones was alarming, and we are calling on drivers to be actually careful about cell phone usage, hands-free kits, and if you need to take a call, pull over. And it is also actually one of the other things is the executives and people in positions of work taking virtual Zoom meetings in the vehicles as they drive. And that is fundamentally very serious for us. So the levels of driver behavior are actually contributing to this. I must say also, just as a parent myself, make a clarion call to parents, please. Strap your children in, fasten their seatbelt, make sure that they are in car seats. Every time we have operations, one of the biggest trends we are picking up is just parents applying a laissez-faire attitude to the behavior in the vehicle. They may drive safely, but they're not driving the other reckless vehicles. And on impact, the first casualties are children, and this is long-term trauma for the children that they suffer on the roads. So it is a multitude of factors on the road which are actually giving rise to the numbers that we see of fatalities.
One last question before I let you go.
Sure, no problem.
You mentioned that you're focusing more on the N3 because of the trucking problem here on the N3, but we've also experienced the same problem on the N2. Will we also be focusing on the N2 and dealing with that on the N2 and other smaller routes?
Yes, we are. So the N3 in KwaZulu-Natal is a focus area. The N2 northbound and southbound are focus areas. There will be heightened NTP deployment, National Traffic Police, to make sure that we support the municipalities and the province. So those are priority routes. Yesterday, when we had the MINMEC, one of the major issues we dealt with was strategic deployment on secondary routes, because there is the other challenge that we have is the use of technology being applied wrongly. So people are using apps such as Waze, InDrive, and Google Maps to plot where there are traffic law operators, and then moving to secondary routes to avoid consequence management. So there is actually a heightened focus on ensuring that we spread to secondary routes as well. And SABC obviously will now form part of this heightened operation for this festive season, so that we can push back on all the frontiers of avoidance which are being applied by drivers. I think in the final analysis, the message that we need to put out is that we don't do any of these things out of spite. We do them in the interests of safety and security, and to ensure that everybody arrives alive. So when people start avoiding consequence management, it tells us that we have a problem, and therefore motivates us to do more. It may cause an inconvenience, yes, on the roads, but it is a necessary inconvenience in comparison to the long-term consequences which may be there because of fatalities and casualties that we suffer on the road. So we are calling for patience for everybody, and for the interaction with our traffic law enforcement officers to be constructive and professional, because they are just simply doing their job in the collective interest of everybody's safety. And I do want to thank our traffic law enforcement officers for the good work that they are doing and the sacrifice that they will be making in this festive season, being away from family, being away from home, in the service of the country to ensure that we're safe. It's honestly just a safety thing, and whatever we do must be understood in that context. And if we work together, I'm pretty certain that we will turn the corner and in saving lives and arrest a trajectory of heightened deaths on our roads.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister, and I can attest that the traffic officers are working throughout the province. I was stopped twice in one day driving back from work this other day.
I think that's important for yourself as well as the media houses, because you are helping us to also communicate the message, and that's why the Mayor of Mkhuleko is here with us today as well, because this is a joint operation. We are working with all stakeholders, municipalities, provinces, and national, and with media houses and society, so that at the end of the day everything is fine. So I do hope that you are fine, and that your fines are sorted, and that your vehicle was roadworthy.
Everything was fine, thankfully.
Thank you very much.
That was the Deputy Minister, Mr. Mkhuleko Hlengwa, saying that there are going to be operations. They will be focusing on the N3, they will be focusing on the N2, because they are having truck problems on these roads. Most of the accidents that are happening on our roads is because of trucks, and we have seen a couple of fatal incidents that are happening on the N3 as well as the N2, where families have lost their lives. 5 families, up to 7 families are in a day, in a space of just a week, this month and last month. So the Deputy Minister did say that they will be focusing and tightening the law against truck drivers, as well as road users that are breaking the law. Back to you in studio.
Live to us there along the busy N3 route near the Mooi Plaza toll. Thanks very much indeed. Mooi River Toll Plaza, there you go. Appreciate that reporting.